Take another deep breath. Let your consciousness sink into your body, grounding you in this present moment. Thank you, Florence. So on this weekend celebrating the birth of our nation, its anniversary, I'll talk a little bit about our religious ancestors. People often talk about pilgrims and Puritans, and those phrases get confused in our minds. I confess I went back to several of my books to figure out exactly which was which. The Pilgrims were the ones that believed that the Church of England was completely corrupt and they had to leave and not be part of it anymore. They wanted to separate from the church. The Puritans were the ones that thought they could purify the church still if they stayed or if they traveled to a new place and did the same church but a little bit more pure. Hence the Puritans. So the Pilgrims arrive in 1620. About 100 people, and half of them die the first winter. Had not the natives, the Wampanoag tribe, helped them, they surely would have perished. And thanks, because of those Wampanoag people, they had a Thanksgiving the following fall. The Pilgrims were separatists. They weren't trying to change the world. They were just trying to live their own life, and they were willing to work with the natives. Not even 10 years later, the first couple of the Puritans arrive with a charter from the Massachusetts Bay Colony. The Puritans didn't really trust the Pilgrims because they thought they really could purify the church, and those Pilgrims were separatists, and we're not going to talk to them until winter comes in North America, and they begin starving and getting sick and dying. And the Pilgrims show up and say, hey, let us help you. And that breaks down barriers, doesn't it? When someone's feeding you and keeping you alive. And then by 1630, they get 17 more ships and 1,000 people, and they found Boston. And they don't care about religious freedom. They want their purified, perfect church. And they don't care about Native Americans, and they're willing to own slaves. We're imperfect people. And then, as the time goes on, our European leaders adopted some of the ideas from our Pilgrim ancestors, the town hall meeting, the democratic process. White male landowners all get a vote anyway. And they adopted some of the Puritan ideas of indigenous relations, make a profit off of them, enslave them, kill them if necessary, or at least drive them away, and then build a trading post where they used to live. And they form a government, and they adopt a flag. Just as humans are imperfect, so are our governments sometimes. That stars and stripes that were many of us waving this weekend has flown over massacres, it has flown over slave auctions, and it has flown over the victories in 2 world wars, and was the first flag on the moon. It's a complex story. We are complex beings. But particularly as a boy and young man, I resonated with the power of the flag and democracy and truth, justice, and the American way. I was a Boy Scout. I participated in a flag burning ceremony. Once we had 2 flags in our troop that were very old and discolored and beginning to get a bit ragged. And we knew the right way to do this, and we wrote to the right people. We respectfully folded these flags one last time. We never let them touch the ground. We said some words to honor those pieces of cloth and the nation that they represented. We set them reverently on a bed of very hot coals, and we tended that fire to ensure that they were totally consumed and there weren't charred scraps somehow remaining to dishonor the flag. I did love my country. I do love the people here. And then September 11th, 2001 happens, and flags start popping up everywhere. And I grow quickly sick of the performative patriotism I see around me, especially how that overlaps with jingoism. And I drive around seeing, oh, that person has flags out after dark without a light on them. That flag is tattered already. Look, they're flying their flag and it's raining. Those flags are touching the ground. They don't care for the flag or the country. They care to be seen like they do. I was actually thrilled to see someone write a letter to the editor saying all those things, although again, the jingoistic turn at the end was a little unfortunate. And then January 6th of this year, there are people, insurrectionists, storming our Capitol with the Stars and Stripes right next to the Stars and Bars, the Confederate battle flag. And some of them are carrying a Nazi flag next to it. So, the Nazi flag, the swastika, right? That symbol has been used by many cultures for thousands of years as a symbol of good luck. It is still used by some Hindus in their marriage ceremonies. There are Buddhists, there are Jain folks who use both the right-facing and left-facing. I can't believe I'm drawing them in the air. The Navajo people of our Southwest. This is a symbol of good luck and fortune, and they love it. And, since the 1930s, virtually all of us think that it's mostly about racism and white supremacy, anti-Semitism and hate. And so we don't use it very much, and even the folks in those cultures are having a hard time. A couple decades ago, anyone play Pokemon? I know there's a few out there yes, there are some Pokemon players here. So somebody bought some Pokemon cards, which were bought from Japan, and 2 of the cards had little swastikas on them because in Japan that is an ancient symbol of good luck. The parents freaked out just a little, and Nintendo discontinued the cards. People who tell me that they display the Stars and Bars, the Confederate battle flag, saying it's not about racism, it's honoring my culture and my family heritage. No, it is not. The racists stole it from you, and you didn't demand they stop then. You were okay with it then. It's too late now. It's been co-opted. That flag is just about hate. And if I say that about the Stars and Bars, then I need to be pushing back against the racist flying the Stars and Stripes now, don't I? I've been planning this sermon a while. How do we reclaim our flag? How do we make the red, white, and blue the sign of freedom that I want it to? And then a week ago, the SCOTUS, Supreme Court of these United States, went on its white nationalist Christo-fascist tear and outlawed abortion and Miranda rights and climate efforts and any kind of decent gun control. And in the week since then, Texas has banned abortion. And it became more important. Someone on Twitter, Chad Rowe Tattoos, wrote, "I will no longer be booking patriotic sleeve tattoos. I don't care what anyone gets tattooed, but I'm not doing art in homage to a country that cares more about controlling my daughter's autonomy than they do if she makes it home from school safely." And Gina Lola tweeted, "I served my country for 8 years in the United States Air Force. Today, I took my flag down. The freedom I served to defend no longer applies to me or my mother's or my daughter or your daughters." And then a slightly more light-hearted Facebook post, "I don't think America deserves a birthday party this year." My friends who identify as white women are full of outrage, appropriately. My friends who identify as women of color are full of outrage and say, "Welcome to the battle we've been fighting for generations." Full disclosure, those same friends note that the flag I want so badly to rehabilitate, that has always been about freedom for all, except women and indigenous folks and the poor and the Catholics and the Jews and the Quakers. And if freedom for all is the criterion, then America has pretty much never deserved a birthday party. But the people who live here, the people who eat and sleep and work and live here, who convalesce and dance and rear children here, the people who have survived one day at a time for the last 365 days, they do deserve a party. I would prefer it not include so many fireworks, but they do, like all people, deserve a party. The preamble to our Constitution says, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union." Now, we know that our union is a long way from perfect, and we know that we, the people, charged ourselves to make it more perfect. If I think the union is not living up to its stated values, I must work to make it more perfect. If we, the people, are dissatisfied with our flag and the republic for which it stands, then we work to make it better. And we can celebrate the work that we are doing and the efforts we're making, because celebrating is part of the struggle. And sometimes when you least feel like celebrating is the time you need it the most. So let us celebrate the many ways that we are working to perfect our union. Did you run for office? Did you vote? Did you volunteer somewhere? Did you patiently answer a child's questions? Did you deliver soup to someone who was sick, or deliver that person to their medical appointment? Did you speak your truth, or set a healthy boundary, or show kindness to someone who needed it? Each of these things are worth celebrating. Each of these things help make our union more perfect. So let us celebrate them. Wave the stars and stripes if you like, or put the flag back in its box and in storage if that feels more appropriate to you. I probably won't wear a lot of red, white, and blue for a while. I will increase my efforts to make this a more perfect union, to embody freedom and justice and respect for all that I was taught the Stars and Stripes did symbolize, and that I hope it will stand for again. Perhaps it matters less what a government calls itself or which flag it flies over its capital, and it matters more how its people behave. Just as the Wampanoag people helped the Pilgrims and the Pilgrims helped the Puritans, just as we 400 years later continue to strive to feed our neighbors, to welcome the stranger, to strengthen our corner of the interdependent web of life. These are difficult times. You are right to be having the natural, normal human feelings you are having. If you are outraged, find a safe way to express it and then channel it toward change. If you are frightened, honor that emotion. Get as clear as you can about it and talk to someone you trust about how to create more safety. If you're grieving, let it out. Watch a sad movie if you need to, and let your sobs cleanse you and prepare you for the next steps. If you are glad about something, revel in your joy. Reject the snarky misgivings of others. Try never to postpone joy. Whatever you are feeling, stay hydrated, move a little, rest, reach out to others, and celebrate. Celebrate the beauty of the earth around us. Celebrate the courageous compassion that beats in our hearts. Celebrate kindness. Celebrate another year with these good people in our lives. Let us celebrate that we are together in these times. So may we be.